All right, gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Does anyone know what Home Assistant is? I know what it is. Other than my bear friend over here. Does anyone use Home Assistant? Hey! All right, so Home Assistant is, at its basic, it's just a way to automate things at home. Like that's low or highest level, but you can get weird with it. These things run great on just like normal hardware. You start at homeassistant.io. You can buy it from them if you want, or you just run it on a Pi or in a container on a Proxmox server, or whenever they release it, start 9040. That's been promised to us for 2 years. I ran the alpha and the beta. It works. It's just not publicly released yet. You can get it. But anyways, Home Assistant is best viewed, I think, as an aggregator of everything you can tie in. High level, there are, this is a technical term, a gazillion integrations you can integrate into this, starting with, various main products that you see, like you can get at Home Depot, or stuff that integrates with your Apple HomeKit and such. Stuff from IKEA. You can utilize Zigbee or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Pretty much any protocol you can integrate into Home Assistant. And so these are just some of what is available. Let's get rid of the featured tag, and then you can see all this shit. That's going to be on the recording. I'm just in A. You can integrate most everything. Some stuff you can run locally and not have to go to a third-party server. Other stuff you have to go through a third-party server. I'm finding that with Claude, you can take out the middleman and kind of hack everyone's API to run it locally, but we'll talk about that later. When you add things to Home Assistant, it's going to want to make a dashboard. So this is, I didn't make this, Home Assistant made it itself. It can break out into areas like bathroom, bedroom, crawl space, etc. Give you summaries of what's on. So these are my lights, none of them are on. We are looking at my home right now. I think this dashboard sucks. It's useful for popular stuff you use or seeing what's on. But you can get crazy with it, make your own. So here is one demo dashboard I've created covering my house. Looks fine on a computer, but on your phone you might want something else. So this guy looks great on my phone. This all stacks up. I can go into my office and see everything in my office and put that away and turn things on and off. It works pretty well. So high level, you can kind of add in whatever you want. You can be as simple as going into the settings. There's so much in this. I'm not going to have time to show everything. Home Assistant is insanely powerful, but let's start at the basics. This is everything connected to my Home Assistant. So alarms, backups, Bluetooth, Bond is a bridge so I can talk to different fans in my house. You can build your own. We built a datum gateway. We built a BitX integration. You can click into that and see all the stats about your BitX. Home Assistant was in no way, shape, or form built for BitXs, but because it's open source and you can build in whatever code you want, you can add in whatever you want, such as BitX. And the API for BitX is great. It reports a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really care about, but it's there and it looks cool. Additionally, there's, this is a Home Depot product. You can bring in weather and different controllers and such. Anything you want to monitor, odds are there is a way to bring it into Home Assistant. And the beauty of that is you don't have to scroll through 20 different apps on your phone, to turn on one light over here and go to a different app and turn on a fan over here. You can see all of it in one place, which brings sanity to my life. What's up, Travis?
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So if I wanted to build a heated driveway, heated slab, could I get it to talk to a weather API and turn on my heated driveway the day before it's supposed to snow?
100%. So you can add in forecasting. You can add in a script or an automation that allows you to look one day into the future for what the forecast is supposed to be. Oh, it's snowing, it's going to be freezing. Crank the boiler. crank the miner that's going to heat the slab. And then additionally, you can have temperature sensors throughout the slab or at the input or output of the slab and make sure there's flow, make sure the temperatures are what you want them to be, and you can also control the pump speed. You can anything you want to control, you can add into this. You might have to get kind of hacky with it, but it works. I particularly like, as I mentioned, you can use Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, that may be new to you, Zigbee, that's another one, Bluetooth, probably pigeon carrier if you wanted to. Everything integrates. I really like Zigbee. You don't rely on internet for it. It makes this mesh network. Oh, that one's down. And everything kind of talks to each other and allows you to increase range because it's a mesh network and they all can communicate and bridge each other. I think this works really well. I have a bunch of contact sensors for my doors and windows, so I know, like for example, my furnace won't turn on if I call for heat and a window is open because I don't want to dump heat outside. That's just waste. On the other hand, it would allow my miners to run for longer, so maybe I need to revisit that. But the reason you guys are all here is you probably want to integrate your mining system with Home Assistant. At a high level, these are controls that we've built for Canon Nano 3S Mini 3s. We also have a Q, but I don't have a Q at home. But I can show you on, I have Home Assistants everywhere. This is a crazy page. Home Assistant also likes to just add everything to one page. This is insane. And in no way is this useful, but you know what? You can see everything. I got a couple of broken entities I got deleted that weren't removed here. But anyways, you can see that, oh, God damn it, Tyler. Go in here, go into Canon. Anyways, so you can see we also have Q control. So we have control for all the home series for Canon Avalon home stuff. Really all you care about is bang bang or the level at which it's working. So that's it. Now at home, I have tied in my living room Mini 3 and my office Mini 3. They're space heaters, right? They should be on a thermostat. So right now, my office is 67 degrees, but, you know, maybe when it's 70. So just by doing that, the Mini 3 will turn on, start hashing, and once the room reads 70 degrees with the temperature sensor I have in there, it kills the miner. Now, I used to have this set up such that when you got to 70 degrees, it put it into a super low mode, so that way it's still hashing, but not producing as much heat. So there's trade-offs for everything. You might have a different use case than me, but the optionality exists. Now, in Home Assistant, they give you full control, which is both good and bad. Automations is really what we're after here, and you can just come into this automation GUI, click automation, pick a trigger you want, maybe on a certain date, or there's a calendar event happening, or a certain device does something, and you want to react to that. You can just click through this, add a condition, then do this. This is simple, if this, then that. Not everyone likes GUIs. So you can also, don't say that, go into the YAML configuration. This is a simple one. I don't really have anything in this one. But if we go into this guy, you can get crazy with it. So I mentioned, this isn't automation, but I mentioned sometimes you need to hack the third-party server to figure out communications. You don't have to go through somebody else. For example, the hot tub outside has this terrible proprietary control that you have to log into their app or to their web page with an email and a password. The web page doesn't give you control. There's no documented API endpoints that you can just easily call. So I had to reverse engineer their API and then scrape it and condense it all into these different entities. But now we're able to see, oh, is the pump on? Is the secondary pump on? Is the light on, et cetera? But it's another example of this thing that was not built at all for Home Assistant. But because it's available online, you can pull it in. Sometimes it needs some formatting, but it's generally pretty straightforward to add, especially if you have a Claude subscription. Claude is the homie. So you can build automations this way as well. I think I have some right here ready to show. Yeah, so you can build automations in that nice, easy GUI I was showing you, or like this is a whole automation, which is fine. Sometimes it's easier to format things in this, but also in that GUI you can switch into code mode back and forth and kind of build whatever you want. Maybe you want to add a delay. Maybe you only want things to turn on Tuesdays. Whatever you can think of, you can tie it in together. Just look at the world through a viewpoint of this does something, and then I can make something do something because that did something. So everything is an input, and you can make it react however you want. Are you in a room with presence detection? You can just have the lights automatically turn on. Is there a motion sensor activated in one room? Maybe you just heat that room and not other rooms where there's not motion because it's not occupied. And you can build in logic in here where it's kind of guessing, oh, there was motion in here 5 minutes ago. It's probably still occupied. But now there's no motion in 10 minutes. It's definitely not occupied. And such like that, you can build that out in Home Assistant. And then I wanted to show another way I like, I think it kind of bridges the gap of the GUI from default GUI and this YAML coding. It's called Node-RED, and it looks really complicated, but it's not. It's just a bunch of block diagrams. It's still the same logic. If this does something and this condition matches, tell me about it. So for me, I think this is easier to visualize the thing, a condition, what it's doing. And so what I like about this as well is you can add a bunch of actions in parallel. So it doesn't have to be just one, bang, bang. You can have my alarm in the morning. You can add delays to it. And am I on vacation or not? Do you want the house to turn on? Whatever, like again, whatever you want, the world is your oyster. And I feel like I'm struggling to explain this because there's so much you can do in this, whether it's it's not just mining control, it's automations about everything. And if you do it right, the wife approval factor is what you need to aim for. Because, and we're gonna talk about this in the panel next, no one's partner is gonna do this. Maybe Steph, but no one, try to convince your wife to come in here and do this. The action needs to be as simple as you want heat, go to the thermostat, turn on. They don't need to know that in the back end, all this crazy stuff is happening to make the miner turn on. They just want to see, I want 72, is it hot? Not all thermostats are made equally. Anyone have an Ecobee? That sucks. They used to have open API, and you could just go, like great documentation, it's all, you can control whatever you want, and then they just closed it for no apparent reason. We found VinStars, specifically like a T7900 or something like that. It looks like it's from 2005. They give you full local API control. And so if you wire it correctly, for example, the ones around the building, we have them wired such that the furnace is on stage 2. Stage 1 is not wired at all. But when that thermostat calls for stage 1 heat, it kicks a miner on and the blower fan and sucks the miner that's ducted in, sucks that heat all over it and pushes it around the building. Then after 15 minutes, if you're not at temperature, or 20 minutes if you want, whatever's comfortable for you, the furnace turns on. Or maybe you're too far away, the delta's too far from your set point and the actual temperature, then the furnace can get you halfway there, then the miner runs the distance, similar to how the hash tub was working. But that's all Home Assistant. Like there's no, I didn't do anything special. It was just like, here's this input, the thermostat tells me what it wants, and then I just react accordingly to it. I feel like this might be best if we just kind of have general questions, because I just give a really high level for anyone that isn't Cody. Schnitzel.
Can you show us your process of, like you said, like Claude is your friend?
Yep.
How do you interact Claude and Home Assistant? How do you actually do it? Is there like 7 different ways?
Yeah, so It depends. If it's on the Home Assistant instance here for Exergy, I allow SSH access into Home Assistant, and I just went real reckless and said, you have access to all of the YAML configuration files. Here's what I want, go build it. Now at home, I don't do that because I'm just more secure at home. I will pull out a YAML file, or I will just tell it, give me the YAML configuration to do X based on Y. And then it can build out the YAML, or it can build out what to copy and paste into an automation GUI, and it's generally mostly right. Sometimes it's on an older version of documentation, and I have to yell at it and say, no, use the new stuff. I have not tried that yet, but I know what I'm doing tonight. Anyone else? Yeah. 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 It's really yeah, it's really frustrating because I've been running Home Assistant for like 7 or 8 years now, and it took a lot of time for me just banging my head against the wall to get this shit to work. And now you can just go, hey, make me a thermostat tied to this miner. I want it all to work. Make no mistakes. So Claude has been immensely helpful in building out all this crap because there's a lot of stuff in the configuration I might forget to add, or I might misread the documentation, but generally the AI assistants can come in here and build it as easily as you need. And it allows you to build cool custom dashboards. It can help you build the front end, the back end, and everything in between. I don't have a solution for that yet, but I know there are some guys in here that do have a solution for that because it's necessary. You can't just rely on what the miner is saying it's consuming because it's generally wrong. I don't know that a bang bang solution like a smart relay exists. You might have to build it yourself, but that's not impossible. There are certainly tutorials for that online. Yeah. Oh, I guess I do have an answer for that. So we have this thing called an elk product. I can find a link for it later. How it works is it's an L630N, so it's a 30 amp, and it's got this like relay interceptor that just goes into 120, and I put a Wi-Fi switch on that. And so if power is called on that switch, it kills the relay for the 220. But if there's no call on the 120, it turns that power back on. It works inversely, or you can configure it the other way as well. Yeah. All right, Cody. Oh, spacey. I think it's immensely helpful for monitoring, for controls, assuming you're not running a crappy firmware that like you can't really talk to. It's most helpful in tying it into the everyday aspect of your life, I think. And we'll fight on that, but. So I would agree with you up until like 2 years ago. Because like I said, I've been running Home Assistant for a long time, and some upgrades they've made totally redid the whole architecture of the system. I've had to nuke my system because of upgrades a couple times. Now, the developers claim that they are done doing that kind of stuff. But you know,
That could have been.
yeah.
That could have been. Don't ever upgrade that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty reliable now. What's up? Why? So by default, it's only accessible locally. You can go in, you can pay for a subscription to them. It's like $6 a month, and get this crazy URL that's very private through their bridge, Nabu Casa access. It doesn't open any ports or anything, but it kind of gives you a backdoor in for you personally. You can also get reckless and just open a port, and you know, Tailscale works great for this. Yeah.
The other thing you could do if you're a little more savvy is Cloudflare has zero trust tunnels, so you can essentially re-implement what
Yep.
you're doing in Casa yourself if you have your own domain name and you want to go through messing with Cloudflare.
Yeah, so not only are there a bunch of integrations, there are also, they used to be called add-ons, now they're called apps. If my thing will load. Oh, let's try a different one. And these are essentially other services that run in parallel on Home Assistant. I think it's the best way to say it. And so it adds something if it loads. It gives you optionality to add additional services, like SSH or Node-RED, or you can tie in DuckDNS or Nginx proxy. MQTT is something else you can add through this. These aren't necessarily native to Home Assistant, but there are other services you can run on top of or in addition to Home Assistant. And these are continuously being built out. These are the official ones. You can add in custom repos if you want. And there's also, it's called Hacks Home Assistant Community Services. And these are things that people have built themselves and put repos up to share, whether they're themes or dashboards or different integrations that Home Assistant themselves don't officially support. I think of it as, like Start9 has their official marketplace and the community marketplace. This is very akin to that. What's up?
What is really nice about the Home Assistant community is their foundation is no cloud at all. That's what they started with. So the whole Home Assistant project started because all these switches and Wi-Fi things, they're all in the cloud. So people said like, I want to control that in my house where nobody can access that. So the whole idea is that you have it on a computer on a Raspberry Pi and you start local first. If you want, you can start to connect it into the cloud. But that is your decision. By default, Home Assistant service runs locally only. So that's so it aligns with the Bitcoin and the privacy and sovereignty of all of that. It's your decision if you say, I'm now going to add the Nabu Casa or whatever thing. So the default is local only, you talk to it through your network. So if your Wi-Fi is locked down, then your Home Assistant is also locked down. You can decide if you want to do it. That's what I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I do this.
Yeah, and there's like the Venn diagram, or I guess I'd say it's disappointing how many Home Assistant users are not Bitcoiners, because the ethos is very much the same, like private, locally controlled, no third party. And the amount of Bitcoiners using Home Assistant is actively growing, which I am just loving seeing, because for the longest time I thought it was just like Brett, Schnitzel, and myself, and then Cody reluctantly. Josh?
Yeah, so kind of a dumb question, and I hate that I'm asking this in front of everybody because I know how to solve the problem, I just don't think my solution is the best. So I've installed Home Assistant on TrueNAS, just get up an SDI from my house, because that was the box that's best suited to run that for me at the moment. I'm looking at some other solutions possibly because it's on my
So I had a similar issue to this in my hacky way before I eventually caved and moved everything. I put a very smaller Home Assistant instance on that IoT network. And then there's add-ons, there's like different REST APIs, so you can have different Home Assistant instances talk to one another. And so you could have A populate B or B scrape from A, however you want to do it. You can do a push-pull situation. So that way you don't have to, even though you're going to eventually, you don't have to nuke your current setup and migrate it. That works really well, and it's near live when you're local relative to each other.
One of my solutions, the other one being just move Home Assistant entirely off my TrueNAS onto its own discrete device, give it a LAN connection to the internal LAN and a Wi-Fi connection to that.
I mean, that's the beauty of this. You can solve it any which way you think is best.
I just figured get a room full of people to tell me, oh, that's a stupid idea. So I don't do the stupid idea first, because that's usually how I learn.
Don't we all? Yeah.
My name's Alex. I come from a plumbing and heating background. I have that kind of stuff. So all this technical stuff is amazing. It's very interesting. It's a little bit over my head. So sorry guys, I have to go back and ask.
No, this is good. This is good.
I have a question about temperature sensors. How do you allow a temperature sensor from what thermostats or getting supply and return, temperatures, all that kind of stuff? How do you allow those temperature sensors to talk to using IoT device?
Yeah, so there's a number of ways. You guys can't see it, but there's a temperature sensor on top of that room right there that talks to Zigbee. It just looks like a little square. But there are aquastats and like flow meters, I guess, that talk over ESP Home, which is a Wi-Fi module. You can buy these pretty much anywhere, kind of under any different communication protocol you want. And it's kind of to each their own which you prefer. Personally, I like to move away from Wi-Fi connected stuff, because if your router goes down at home for whatever reason, your Home Assistant can still be up and talk to all your Zigbee stuff and not be, reliant on your local internet. Now, it might be difficult to talk to the Home Assistant itself, but at least everything can still talk to one another. I know Schnitzel's dying to answer this question. You just had that in your pocket? Oh, by the way. For now. Yeah.
But that's the awesome thing about Home Assistant. So Home Assistant has more than 50,000 capabilities. And so somebody probably, even though it's maybe closed source, they might have an
Yeah, and
maybe somebody already has reverse engineered that.
odds are you're not the only person to think of this problem. Like the Home Assistant community has been the most powerful, in my opinion, in their willingness to help solve problems. Like exactly what we're talking about here. It's like, hey, how do I get A to do B? And so whether it's intercepting analog signals with Arduinos or like Shelly devices that you can just shove into a wall socket and intercept your switch, all of this is totally possible. So we are here and willing to answer questions. Yeah. Yo.
I've got a lot of Hashrate deployed and Hashrate deployed. And from an HVAC perspective, with the systems that I've put out, I don't really necessarily need to integrate to individual thermostats.
Yep.
That's all already in my central control. The only thing I really care about is when there's a heat demand. And so when there's a heat demand, like maybe the miner comes on or off, and then I just need to scale that miner to be the right amount of heat that gets put out, right?
Yep.
And so I think it's really interesting in a lot of ways on the ability to connect to the miner API and maybe just have it run or maybe have it scale to 4,000 or whatnot. But the level of control I've noticed really isn't that complicated to have the system. And the homeowner doesn't need to have the thermostat integrated once. All
Correct.
they need to do is turn it on and generate heat demand through the central motor unit control, and then that signal can tell the miner to turn up or down.
Actually, probably one of the most complex parts about that whole idea is actually the range that you're talking about. Like the 800 to 4,000 watt. Most miners, well, most modern like 240 volt miners are not going to go below like maybe 1,500 watts on the low end.
Yeah.
So like having that range is kind of difficult. So you get into a situation where you either want to be manually adjusting the voltage within a smaller range, say 2,000 to 3,600 watts, or you just want to be turning it on and off. So there's a lot of ways to go with it.
It's a lot simpler too if you live in a place where it's profitable to mine.
Sure.
Because you can just have that boiler on all the time.
Yeah.
But when you live in places with high electrical costs, it increases the complexity of managing it all.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's what I like a lot about this is that you can have it such that you're just running all the time, bang, bang, and turn it on and off, or you can have it self-modulate where you have a heat demand, you meet your heat demand, and you put it into a low power state. And so you're still hashing, you just like kind of have it in like this PID cycle and hit the target when you need to and then put itself still hashing just in a lower target. It's all however you want to build it. It's you have full capability and autonomy on whatever you want to do.
Have you guys try like been running any tests on like a complicated like clean system? I'm just curious about like all what got me a lot was these like edge cases that you didn't think about, and these would come up over time, where it would be like, what happens if miner loses internet or home assistant loses internet or power shut off to this but not that? Like like you guys work through a lot of these edge cases from like running miners at all, or is still to be explored?
You told me you were going to ask this question, and I didn't totally prepare for it. So let's take them one by one. Yeah. I mean, everything's going to be on the straight and easy path. There's no edge cases. So unless you're running like Brains or LuxOS, if you lose internet, or Mujina, you're gonna lose your heat production. Because Brains, you can use the drain pool. LuxOS, I haven't played with it yet, but they have the new feature where you'll keep hashing. And I think Ryan, he left. I think it's included in Mujina as well that if you lose internet, you'll keep hashing as well. Because I think the gridless guys needed that. But then, yeah. So you got to build in fail safes. Yeah. So, yeah. Correct. Yeah. Or not found. There they are. Yeah. Correct. So
default, if unavailable, turn off.
kill it. Yeah.
What I have in my system is that like, yeah, like if any of the sensors goes unavailable, I basically disconnect the relay to the power of the miner. And saying like, hey, this is the fail-safe emergency. It sends me a notification to my phone. So I can use that to then learn. Because the other thing that you haven't showed yet is for every automation, you can see the trace.
Oh yeah.
Every single time that one of us does an automation, you can go in and recreate why did every single step. So I'm using that to learn. But not by default will like,
Of course not.
yeah. I mean, unless you give it access to your LLM. Then we call about no, like then suddenly the house will not let you in anymore. Whatever.
Yeah, so for example, like here's my automations for my time of use. Turn off at 5, turn back on at 9. But we can see in here, there. Yeah, this is a simple one. I picked the wrong one. Where's a hard one? I don't know, I'm a simple man. These aren't super complicated. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where I have the pump for my M64. If the pump Shelly switch goes unavailable, whole pump stop, shut it off.
I thought I had something in here that would do that for me, but I don't know. Anyways, I mean, that's high-level Home Assistant, guys. You can kind of build whatever you want. My favorite one that I have on here, well, one of my favorites, this stupid complicated thing. I think it's this one. I get notified when Ocean finds a block. I like to know when I'm getting paid. It doesn't do that by default, but I get a cool notification on my phone. Hey, you made X amount. And we have it documented in some repo somewhere that you can actually pull the stats out of Ocean. On this account, I have this much in the next block. This much hasn't been paid out. You can see how the different templates stack up for Ocean. It's pretty cool to see 91% on Datum. You can see your individual miner stats. That's valuable to me, maybe not to everybody else. But again, Home Assistant is here to build what is good for you. I do love that the 3 most vocal people in this room, besides Cody, are on the next panel discussing control. So I think next panel is 1:30, maybe 1:25. But that's it for me for now, unless you guys have any other questions. It kind of really high level, but 1:25. So we have about 15 minutes till the next panel, but that's it for now.